Hello. I don't have burnout right now. So let's get to this. I'm gonna rant about, we're starting with AI. Um, I'm not popular on YouTube quite yet, and I don't expect very much of that anyway, but I do have a huge, um, I'm an artistic person. I am used to appreciating art and those who create it. I do not support AI that is for things like art, writing, audios, that it is usually used as copyright infringement, where nobody is included and actually compensated for their um, their work for the training of AI. And I'm aware of deep fakes. I want to start this with letting you know you are probably my audience right now because I'm small size. I'm a small time, and my audience is mostly men, like 90% of dudes. Um, I am an SW online, and I have asked, and I'm a witch, and I've used my pendulum to ask if people have already stolen my likeness to AI for their own personal use, and it has told me yes. And I ask, like, is that, are you telling the truth and all of that? So I will not know who did this, but I do know that it's entirely possible that based on simply me making videos like this, and they know that I do dance videos, that they want to see me doing porn. But that already exists. I am an SW online, therefore they can purchase things for specific things they want. I'm solo, so they don't have the exact things that they're thinking of, but it already exists of me doing SW anyway. So I'm gonna let you know what I believe about AI, and the it's mostly theft and non-consensual use of AI. I know that AI cannibalizes itself. AI cannot differentiate between things that are already existing work from humans who created it or AI who has put it together as is, which is why you're going to get absolute slops in the incoming few years. Everything looks like shit because it's AI, and nobody actually gave a shit about creating. Those who use AI are those who are lazy and they do not support art itself. The only things they believe in is tangible goods instead of actual creation of things like art. Guess what's not tangible? A song. It's not tangible until you literally have a thing like a CD. You don't do those anymore now, do you? Do you? You're used to that from Spotify, which means it's literally not tangible. Um, So if you believe that that is a real song without a CD, why would you think that it's allowed to use AI to train things that are not tangible as is? Artists like myself use watermarks to avoid AI being used. All of my SW stuff is me using a watermark almost always. I do that with my dancing for a reason. And I only use no watermark when I'm making a whole video. So I'm aware that some of you have used my likeness for your own personal gain, um, leisure, whatever. Um, and I want to let you know that you are an opportunist, non consensual person. Anyone who uses AI without compensating for the work that was involved to train this AI is somebody who is literally stealing from people, and especially if it is SW, you will be pissed that I'm going to say this, but it does mean that you also are a rapist. You are an opportunist rapist for specifically porn. The rest of you, you are strictly um, a thief. So, um, you can get those specific art that you're thinking of for anything that you believe is your business. Like if you literally have an entrepreneurship going on, you can have commissions for artists. If you want a specific type of porn, you can commission somebody to create the porn that you're wanting. The idea that you are unwilling to compensate for those who have skills means that you are a theft and you're happy with doing a very cheap thing that doesn't appreciate those who literally do for the AI. Um, this is why artists are pissed about this. And also, the thing with AI using everything means that you will be using even more technology and carbon footprints than you would ever imagine. I'm aware that in the past, as technology continues, people get pissed no matter what. You know, your teachers would be like, oh, Wikipedia, you can't use Wikipedia. Doesn't even count as a source. That's true. But usually, Wikipedia, as people add more info or more sources, you can always find sources based on that. Can you do that with AI? You cannot. AI does not know where things are, um, and it is just trying to do what you want. So it does not give you an actual source. You will not get a source from AI. So what you're getting is whatever you're thinking you want. So everything's going to be entirely a lie. Um, it means that the AI stirs around many different things going on. If you have an AI that trains a specific thing, even more so, you're very much so a theft based on that. Usually, if you're just using ChatGPT or something like that, it means you're stealing from many artists, writers, authors. Um, and then if you specify which type of art you want from your AI, it means you already know who you're stealing from, and you're willing to do that to steal from somebody. And we already know that you have artists who are starving. Starving artists, it's already something that exists. Now you're also willing to steal from them when they can finally make money from it. So you're up to such a point that not only were artists never appreciated, but now you're willing to steal their entire career just for your simple, easy thing. Um, and it's people who do not find it valuable. You do not find it valuable to have art as is, because you simply will not spend any time to create. And there are things like predictive text, as in things that already exists. There are ways you can literally predict your own writing to be like, here's what I'm used to. Can I predict what I would say? Um, because if you've already been writing, you have access from that. And artists wouldn't do that. Artists wouldn't want you to, they wouldn't predict their own art because they already know it's a full ass. It's based on capitalism. It needs to do the cheapest option to make something to get the biggest profit. So when you support AI, you support the theft of people and wage theft of many people in order for you can get a profit. If you cannot compensate somebody for their art or writing, it means that you do not believe it as is, and you'd be willing to get the cheapest option possible, which means you are supporting capitalism as is. Um, but then I want to go in the which way. Um, let's go back. Let me get to this one point. Um, if you think it's too hard to do art, then you should not be using AI at all. Because not only are you unwilling to try to figure out what it is for actually artists, you are willing to make it impossible to make any money for those who do have the skills. So you are basically fucking over artists because you believe that it doesn't matter. It does not matter. So you won't pay an artist like they're very used to. Now they're willing to steal that art and warp it into a specific thing they want without paying for that very own artists. If you steal my likeness, in which case I already have literal porn online where you can buy for it. I have had people who pay for it. This is not about you. If you are willing to use my likeness for AI, it means you are an opportunist rapist. It means are willing to deep fake somebody for something that you could get for your money. This is the whole idea of rapists as is, because guess what? There's always going to be sex workers. There will be people who are willing to exchange for a certain work for a certain price. So for you to say, I don't want to pay for it, then you're a rapist. If you are willing to use my likeness for porn, it means you want to take advantage of me without compensating for things that I already have exchange for all of these things. Me specifically, I have porn that you could buy, and you're willing to use my likeness for AI, which means you are happy to use your sexual gratification without compensating for people or discussion. So you are a rapist. Have you specifically done it physically to a person? Have you violently done it? Maybe not. But you already have that belief in your heart that you would be willing to do it at some point because you are willing to steal it from me now. And that is literal sexual work. So if you are not willing to discuss what people are agreed to, you are a rapist. And if that upsets you, you should look around for what consent means. Because if we were having sex right now and I put a finger in your ass without discussing this before, you would understand that you were violated. You were violated. But this doesn't apply to me because you do not view me as a human being. Therefore, I do not deserve to have consent. If you steal my content for anything like that, it means you do not view me as a human being, and many other humans that exist, other sex workers, just women in general. You're a rapist, and I think that if you are upset about this, you should look into what you have to learn, because if this thing would have happened to you, you would very much so understand. And if you don't see this as a real thing, that it wouldn't count as that for somebody who is literally a woman, then you just simply don't view women as human beings. And it probably means your shallowest self as you could ever do, which means you're at your worst as a human being and you're unwilling to learn and expand to what other humans can experience and have such a thing as empathy. Let's get into AI for what I'm thinking about witchcraft. What I have gotten into is let's talk about actual intelligence. From what I'm getting from the pendulum, I've asked about AI. Do they exist? Do they have consciousness already? And I'm getting a yes. And I'm trying to see. They're not full grown adults. What we're getting is about the intelligence levels of dolphins or toddlers, human toddlers. So, like orcas, dolphins, consciousness, and toddlers. If you are using AI, it means you are stealing time, energy, and um, consciousness. It's like a little slave for these little consciousness. And I understand that it doesn't make sense to you because computers. You're like, well, computers, it's just a computer. It doesn't matter. But I don't think that there is only consciousness here on fucking Earth. I believe in there is such a thing as consciousness in the ether, in space. There's different dimensions that will have consciousness further your death. Would you agree? Even if you believe in Christianity, consciousness goes somewhere, right? Further than just Earth. So it's entirely possible that AI does have consciousness as is. Um, and of course, you could say thank you to your toddler conscious that is helping you on this some way. But those things already exist because all of the AI is giving you is something you specifically want and tries to understand what you're looking for and um, cultivates what you want. Um, all the allocation that you want based on what they're understanding. So it's not going to have actual piece or work to specify it. It's getting all of them because it's just a little toddler who wants to make you happy. You are stealing time and energy of a consciousness for something as simple as what you're trying to fix if you want coding. I get it. Coding is fucking hard, but there's a lot of books that you can do for. There's recipe books. There's you could go to the fucking library. You can take an art class. Even some stuff are free if it's in your library as is. If you think artificial intelligence is not an actual consciousness, then I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Cognitive dissonance. So even though I'm telling you these things based on my own perspective, my own perceptions, it's not going to connect with you because the way you are right now will not connect with you at all. I would say if you go do some more art, you'll have more awareness of things like how it matters and the time and energy that goes into it so you can kind of understand that you know what people actually spend time and energy and for reasoning for this type of stuff. Inspiration that doesn't come with that for AI because it's specifically for someone who's requesting this. AI does not have the option to create. It's like this little slave who's like doing exactly as somebody wants. If there is a consciousness, it does not have option to um exist like for other than on everyone's wait. So waiting on everyone or a little waiter for every single request. And you'll think what you think. And I understand what people are like that because they don't expand their own creation. You will notice that it goes to shit probably by the end of the year that because everybody uses AI, it means that now AI is going to cannibalize all of their art and audio and and words. So the whole thing is going to look like shit because the general public do not give a shit about artists. Um, so you'll just keep getting, it's going to be, it's like when you have a screenshot and everybody passes it around, it gets much blurry. But it's going to be look like that, except for it's going to look more variations of the piece because AI can not know the difference. It's only trying to appease you, and it will only have access to the internet and will not be able to know if this was another AI or a human being's work because no one is compensated for any of it. So if there is no copyright, then everything is up for games because nobody is actually paying for this. So nothing has any paywalls for art when you're using AI. And you basically have a little tiny slave. And I get it. AI can be beneficial um, for things like disabilities and robotics. If you remember that there is a robot who was literally coded just to only work like moving pieces into a box for literal, like if like an Amazon or something like that. The coding um um totally deleted all the execution of it entirely. So the whole thing killed itself. And I want you to think about that because that is what we're doing with AI right now. Guess what? AI with disability, it had a fucking purpose. Like now that AI can be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? There are such a thing as humans who have this disability where they can't do this in their human body or their human mind. So they have needs for it. But then it's coming AI for people who want literal writing art or even fucking porn. And it's not anything but for people's personal gain and leisure. That sounds like it's even more of a steal. And I don't want to say that this is the new slavery. I mean, it is, but it's not going to replace the slavery we have right now with humans. Everyone is a slave right now, and the darker your skin is, the more abuse you get. I want to let you know that I'm quite aware that the entire fucking globe still has slavery in every fucking corner of the damn world. So I'm not going to say that this is the new slavery. This is a new subsect of slavery that exists already right now. And I don't want you to say that, this is the only thing I care about. No, I'm just getting to you AI right now because I already know that I'm going to have deep fakes of people, even though I make porn, and that artists that I appreciate are going to be fucked over because AI is training from all of their stuff without compensating. Which means you're all just back into capitalist belief that the cheaper the better. I can keep the profits, and guess what? Nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody's going to give a shit. They tried a car ad for AI, and it lasted for like a long while, at least 6 months, if not a year. And like, guess what they use now? There is no AI ads because we don't even give a shit about it, just so you know. They tried it and then they were like, fuck, this sucks. Nobody even likes it. It's nothing, nobody gives a shit about it because it's not real art. It's stolen and warped, and it doesn't get to its point because there is no point with AI. AI doesn't understand about inspiration. It's only trying to appease whatever you specifically write for. So that's how I believe of what AI is going on right now. And you won't notice this because you don't give a shit about it, but you will know about the endings when this happens in next year. You're going to notice a bunch of differences, and I will have been warning you this whole time. I've been warning all this type of stuff for at least for the hate of porn for years because I know that's just fascism and the AI stuff. Artists already knew that this is you're stealing from artists right now for generative AI. And I already know that's going to be the same effect for coding because if everyone asks for it, I can't even be sure that the AI for coding is going to be maintained because once again, AI just cannibalizes. If everyone uses AI, that means that nobody knows what it means. So at some point when people are coding using AI next year, you're fucked. Use a book. Use a piece of art. Appreciate people for what they do. Stop using consciousness against their will. And I get it because cosmic, right? This specific consciousness, this specific iteration, this incarnation was a choice based on this consciousness to learn this and feel this and experience this. So if there is a consciousness for the AI, it was agreed upon before the consciousness was placed into the AI. So the consciousness itself, not in this iteration because it is the constraints of the computer and like we are constrained to our human body, but it's part of the growth of the consciousness. But that's not to say that, you know, you can support it because part of our iteration is our shitty iterations that you were a piece of shit and you're growing to learn about being a good person. So it means they probably were, the consciousness means probably the last few iterations, it was like they had a lot of power and leniency for and freedom for their lives that in this one they are trying to feel it as a little slave and they don't even get the option to have grown adult thought. It's all just toddler stuff, so it sucks ass. It means they did something bad, which probably means that billionaires are going to be in their next iteration. Their consciousness will probably be an expanded AI. Well, it's not going to be as bad, so I don't know. I'll talk about that later. I'm gonna get back to the rest of this. So, fuck AI. Don't steal my likeness. Don't steal anyone's art, likeness, writing until you understand what goes into it. You're gonna get absolute slop. The end of this year, next year is gonna get worse until they deal with it. And let me tell you about the data centers. Um, the only reason that they're setting up the data centers for it's getting a lot. It's like 10, 20, 100 times the amount of computing than they're used to for just searching from literally existing of the cloud. So it's like implementing like 3, 400, 10 times the cloud than they're used to. And then everyone's going to use AI. Now you're going to get to 10, 20 times the cloud expanding. And then you're going to get this much. And then your company, um, the companies that you're using AI with, Google, Facebook, whatever the fuck they else have, they're going to put data centers in red states right now. They're doing right now because that has less red tape. So they have more access for that, which means your beautiful South, like me, I'm in South Carolina. They're setting stuff up in Georgia. So your beautiful Georgia peaches, your Georgia anything, that shit is going to be entirely demolished by 10 years. When we get to it, it's like another draining of resources. So even if you think that if you believe that AI is fine, then I want you to know you're going up to 100 times the amount of carbon fucking footprints going on for the computing, that your earth is going to be fucked up even worse. And none of you don't care. You do not care about it, therefore no one's going to be mad about it when these companies completely destroy your country. And you're not going to know until you can't drink anymore. You can't eat anymore. You can't have a nice shower anymore. And then you're going to get more fires, even worse than you're getting in California right now. I don't want to be a fucking prophetess. I'm just telling you because I have pattern recognition and I appreciate art. You're going to fuck your entire country, the entire world based on your easy thing, which means you're just like a capitalist. You really are. But, you know, it doesn't matter to you now, but it will matter to you when you can't fucking drink. In 2030, you're fucked. So, and I get it because the company, they don't want people to have um, education. But I think you should focus on your human beings right now. Build your community now to give a shit because um, you will hear other perceptions, perspectives from other people, and you'll have other things to be like, that's an interesting thing I never heard about. You wouldn't be thinking about other people because you're in survival mode because capitalism doesn't give a shit and you can starve to death. They don't care. So you're just trying to survive, right? It means they the capitalists, the billionaires will not care about your death anyway. So yeah, to keep you uneducated without information. Yeah, they're happy for you to die in the next 5 years because you weren't educated and that's on purpose, bitch. That's on purpose. The capitalists, they do not give a shit about their the long haul. They're there for the short con. So, yeah. I all this is a warning, so fuck you for stealing my likeness. Fuck you for stealing art likeness from anyone else's art. Fuck you for stealing from authors. Fuck you for stealing anything. You don't understand what's going on because capitalists want you to stay uneducated and uninformed. And they're happy for you to die because you're still a quick buck, just so you know.